What up, 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 what up? Woo-hoo-hoo. Listen, okay, despite how exacerbated my what ups were, okay, I'm still measured. I'm still cool. I still know what will be when this is all said and done. I know what the end will be, okay? But it's just good to get a win. It's just good. Not one win, but 2 wins within 4 days. Listen, I'll take it, and I'll take it again. Welcome, everyone, to the Brooklyn Bears Ball Sports Talk Show. We are here again doing our thing. As you already know, it's your boy Rod. It's your boy Don. We are in the building today. We're going to talk about it. We're going to be about it. We're going to talk about them Cowboys, and we're going to talk about them Niners on tomorrow because they got a big one coming up, boy. It's going to be on and popping. And our boy Scrap is not with us today, of course. You know, all things Philly. I guess when you're 10-1, you can kind of take your time out off and, you know, not really show up, kind of come in whenever you want to come in because I guess that's what it's like when you know one of the leading teams in the NFC. But nevertheless, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. You already know YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We got TikTok. I'm about to say zigzag. I don't even know that might be in the spirit. Zigzag, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Twitter, everything.
The only zigzag I know is last year Anthony Davis's games were zigzag.
See,
maybe that's there was a correlation to it.
But you know,
and we're going to talk about that elimination from the cup.
We're going
to talk about them being eliminated.
Yeah. I was very disappointed last night, though. Yeah, but we'll talk about it. Yeah, it's all.
Listen, we got a big week ahead, man. First of all, we're not mathematically eliminated, okay, and we have a very, very difficult schedule. I mean, the NFL. I mean, had we not been decimated with injuries, these games would be competitive. It would still be a tough schedule, but clearly we'd be, better prepared for it. But we're gonna discuss all that. We're gonna, man, we ain't sad over here.
No, you shouldn't be.
Y'all
ain't mathematically out of it, so you shouldn't be.
We're not. Actually, we have a good shot. But we'll see what happens. Yeah. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, week 13 has started, and as you can tell by Rod's response, the Cowboys must have won, or something good must have happened in Dallas.
Something good happened to you,
and he said he promised he wouldn't do this, and I understand. When you get 2 victories and you haven't had something in a long time, but act like you've been there before. Don't 2 wins and you're renewed like an eagle. Like, listen, like an eagle. Shout out to Scrap for the eagle comment.
Right. Yeah.
But listen, all I'm saying is, yes, Mike is feeling himself and he's talking. We're not out of it. And you know what's going to happen? I hope you guys win out. Because you know what happens if you win out? Mike McCarthy stays. And you guys will be, yes. Jerry Jones already made it clear. Like, hey, if you guys, because Jerry Jones is going to, in his mind, give an excuse why the Cowboys and the team that he did nothing with in the trade deadline and in free agency, he's going to justify that it was just injuries. It was just a bad luck and, a rabbit's foot and a black cat walked across the field. Anything. So he's going to be okay. And if McCarthy can figure out or conjure up a way to at least be over 500 for these last games, I can see him. And so I hope you guys, I want success for you guys. I want you to win out. Because at the end of the day, you will keep McCarthy and that whole Micah Parsons and we back and we have a good team. And come on. Now let's be real. But no. Don't try to, because you are hype. And when before we got on camera, I'm telling you, there was all kind of stuff. I mean, we them boys playing in the background. I told him, listen. We didn't clear that music, so I don't want us to. We the boys playing in the back. He had all kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, 2 wins, and this is what we do. But I understand you're excited. You beat up on the Giants, right? And the Giants were they're in
Not really.
flux.
I mean, the game was close. I mean, it took a
Yeah, but I mean, overall, you guys had
yeah,
it wasn't. It seemed like you kind of
but
had command of it,
I
right?
don't know. We didn't get that first down. If Cooks didn't reach out and make a great catch like he did, I think the Giants would have scored because our defense was gassed on that last drive.
And let me just say this: Cooks is the #1 receiver for the Cowboys.
Oh
Shout
my
out to Cooks.
God, here we
I
go.
want to give Cooks. I want to give Cooks.
I done heard
I want to
enough.
give him his flowers because
Oh,
Cooks.
God.
Wait a minute. You just said that if it were not for Cooks, where would your team be doing?
No, I didn't say all. See, America.
Wait, that's what I thought. I mean, that's what I got out of it. This is what I got. Wait a minute.
Yeah, your interpretations are so blown.
No, you said okay. Let me hear you out. Am I hearing correctly that you said that your team was gassed, and if it wasn't for Cook,
was gassed, yeah.
Okay,
wasn't for Cook to make
defense is part of the team, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
yeah.
And if it wasn't for Cooks reaching out, you might have lost that game, right? Yeah, sip on whatever you want to sip on. Yeah. Did you say that? You said that, right?
I said that.
Not CD. You didn't say if CD reached out, right?
But okay, so
CD's numbers were trash.
CD's numbers were trash. Ayuk in the playoffs. Does that make Jennings your #1, or if you will? Because I don't even think Ayuk is the #1. But y'all paid him like one. But nevertheless, okay, if Jennings was getting off, which he did, and the other guy stepped up, which they did, because Ayuk didn't with his little butterfly ladybug catches, he called it. Okay, outside of that, he was really ineffective for the most part. But I'm saying CD had a bad game, no doubt about it. That 31, I could have gone through that TV and ripped his head off his shoulders. I was so angry at that drop. I mean, I was furious at that drop. No doubt. He knows he had a bad game. But again, CD, okay, CD again.
39. Well, yeah, 39 yards, maybe. What do you have?
In this game here, we had. Okay, all right. I mean, see,
it's only a couple of days ago. No, don't.
Yeah, he had 2 catches for 39 yards. He had 6 targets, but he had 3 drops. So he didn't play good. No, he didn't play good at all.
If we do a blind comparison, does
that sound the #2 receiver in receptions this year? He was #1 going into that game on Thursday until, of course, Bauer.
And he made sure with the drops and just not being, acting like a #1, he wanted to, let the other wide receivers catch up. That's what his goal was. He wanted it to be closer.
Well, that might have been the case. That's why that Bowers get off. Bowers, they were going to lose anyway, which they did. But, the Raiders and stuff. Look, CD's just trying to spread the love. It's all good. Again, didn't play well. Critical drop, no doubt about it. But he's clearly, indistinguishably the #1 receiver on the Dallas Cowboys. The only threat that we have, unlike Ayuk, who has and plays with a plethora of other stars. We don't have any stars on our offense other than
Ayuk has done. Ayuk
Dak Prescott, who again you take it or leave it, right? With Dak, that's up for subjective argument, right? So CD is our only offensive, real, true weapon that we have, and he still manages to put up numbers.
Ayuk is done for the season. So we don't really need to talk about Ayuk.
No, we can still talk about what he did. He got paid for what he did already, right? Did he not get them? He got paid.
And he got injured. He got injured. He held out. He got his money. Unfortunately, he got injured. Those are the breaks. And those are the reasons that you hold out and you get paid, right?
No doubt. Worked out for him.
I mean, that could be said about Dak, right? What has Dak done, right? The players get the money. Injuries they can't prevent, right? Sometimes these things happen, right?
You'll never blame a player for getting paid, right? It's not Dak's fault. The Cowboys gave him the money that they gave him, or Ayuk, who got money from the Niners that was probably not worth, to some.
Okay, so everyone agrees that Dak should be the highest paid quarterback, right? His contract's not egregious, but Brandon Ayuk's contract, according to you, is egregious. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I think Dak.
What kind of drink is that? What is that? Blended turkey and dressing? I mean, what kind of you drink it like it's that joint is like the elixir of life. What is that?
No, this is tropical.
Yeah.
Tropical.
And we're not sponsored by Jamba Juice.
Right,
this
right,
dude
right,
is like he's just twirling the cup like, yo, what's up? What is going on with the elixir of life?
Yeah, I go.
That dude is going, yo. I'm like, yo, what's he
that?
can't even get his answer out because of the smoothie. He's like, yo, let me get back to you on that.
Yeah, come get him. Go get
him. Take a swig real quick. I can't, this dude is, I'm like, yo, we trying to do a sports show here. This dude is doing, if you want to make this a, Dr. Sebi and you want to go into a whole nother line of podcast, and maybe we can do that. Just let me know. Jeez. Okay. All right. Listen.
Oh,
I'm gonna give you the floor. I think the Cowboys ultimately a W is a W, right? Yeah. And I don't think you guys. I mean, it's a long shot, right? Your odds are longer than ours to make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Only because of a weak division. We have everybody, even though they're playing, it's a weak division, right? Everyone is so. We have a shot. We have the toughest out of the NFC West, the toughest schedule, right? Clearly. I mean, tough. I think we play Buffalo. I think we still have to play Detroit. I mean, we have a tough schedule ahead of us. But there's hope, right? You hope, springs eternal or whatever they say. So I think we have a shot. But we'll talk about the Niners in a second because I saw something that was really interesting. And I just want to put that out to everyone just to see and let everybody, see a bird's eye view on what potential and what could happen. But floor is yours, man. You feeling good? You got the smoothie. You got the W. Cowboys are back. We the boys. All of that stuff. I'm ready.
No. Matter of fact, I'll make this very succinct, very short. Nothing to brag about. You talk about injuries. Dallas got a lot of injuries too. We lost some more guys. Juan Thomas is a big loss for us. I mean, he's okay, but we're losing some depth there in our secondary.
Certainly, we're not comparing injury for injury.
No. And I'm not comparing at all because
come on, bro. Come on.
49ers. I'm just saying, but we do have some injuries. But D-Law's coming back. Actually, I think he's going to play against the Bengals. He's been in the facility. He's running. He's jogging. He's playing. So we'll see if he practices this week. Look, D, Cooper Rush is Cooper Rush. He's gonna make a few throws here and there, but he's not Dak. But he's a serviceable backup. Rico Dowdle is running really well, right? And he's been playing really well. I think really Zach Martin being out, as crazy as this might sound, okay, a future Hall of Famer, but with Hoffman in there at right guard, it's actually working better for us because Zach Martin has been hurt. He's been compromised all year long. He just can't play anymore. He's done right now. This is why most likely everyone projects that he's going to retire. So Hoffman being in there, I like Bass. You got Udoka on the left tackle side there playing. And I think we're going to, the line is starting to pick up a little bit. But again, bad teams. And I'm about to say the Redskins, the Commanders, going back to the win we had on Sunday, I'll be honest, D, maybe we kind of overestimating them a little bit. Cliff Kingsbury is not.
Well, historically, he's only good for half a season. He balls out half a season. It's like, man, this guy's so innovative. And then that back half, it's pickup ball with your at the local, backyard plays and execution just goes down the. Yeah, it's like what happened?
Yeah, it does. And so when you look at the Commanders, and I still think that was a good win, but Commanders are probably not at least for me, because I hadn't really seen them play a lot this year. But seeing them in that game, they didn't look impressive to me. And then you look at the Giants, who are the Giants, of course, and we know just how bad they are. Not only at the players, but just organizationally, they might be just as worse as the Cowboys, if not worse. And I think these are two wins that, look, it gives us a little spark. We got the Bengals. Can we beat the Bengals?
No.
I think we can.
No.
Look,
No.
Are we going to win that game? I don't think
No.
we will, but there's a good chance. We still, look, we got some momentum, but it's their defense is not great. So if we can find a way, if our defense can find a way to kind of keep the game somewhat close,
you got to keep the point. You got to stop them from scoring.
Well, right, and I think
it don't even matter about their defense, right? If you go when you're dealing with a team like that doesn't have a great defense but has a high potent offense, you have to, and your defense is okay. They're getting better, but they're not great, right?
No, they're not. No, they're
and
not.
Your offense certainly,
yeah,
your offense certainly isn't great, right? So how are you going to be able? Now you're going to hope that there are a bunch of turnovers or sack, fumble, or interception, but your corners, they've proven not to be reliable.
I mean, wait now, hold on. Bland has looked very well. And
he's looked very bland. You're right. He's looked bland.
What do you mean he's looked bland? Bland is playing almost like nearly shut down football.
Nah, I'm seeing double moves and Bland is getting lost.
Nah, wait.
We're talking about Deron Bland? Are we talking about Deron Bland?
Yeah, I'm talking about Deron Bland. Yes, I'm talking about Deron Bland. Nobody really been getting off. McLaurin outside that 86-yard catch and run at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, he was on lock.
Just an 86 bomb. Just that. If it wasn't,
I'm saying he had under 30 yards before that pass play. So he was on lock, and that wasn't on Bland. They was in a zone. So I'm saying, and he's played well. I mean, the Giants. I mean, my neighbors have what
different position. But do you think Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley or CMC? Do you think they care if they are pretty much locked down for 2 quarters or maybe even 3 quarters, but then they end up with a long, big 70-yard run? I mean, if we looked at Saquon,
Bland, though, but that's not on Bland. We're talking about Bland. That was on they was playing in a prevent zone defense, and that was really more on Jay Lou because he didn't back in the way he didn't get enough depth, and then what's his name took a bad angle. The rookie we got. Well, he's not really a rookie. He's been on our practice squad the last 2 years. Who played really well. And I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But he took a bad angle, as did McQuamu on that play.
So he ran by 4 players, is what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. But that wasn't on a one-on-one against Bland. Yeah, he did. He really did. Yeah, he really did. We had some bad angles right there, and they just didn't get the job done on that play. That was bad. Bad play. I do like the Cowboys defense better now. Look, if you get Law back, Micah Parsons is on a tear, right? Again. And so you got him. You got what, 5 sacks in the last 3 games? He's balling. So what I'm saying is that you got the pass rush that's there. If we could somehow neutralize a run game and we could stop teams from running, which we've done the last couple of weeks, because Robinson is a good runner with the Commanders. Okay, they got a good backfield. We shut them down. Him and Eckert, we shut them down. So
Eckler had almost a life-changing, life-altering concussion.
Well, that was at the end. But I mean, after we rocked his knot, you know what I'm saying, on that, you know what I'm saying, the kickoff return. But that was at the last, that was on the last play of the game. Dallas had pretty much at that point the game was finally decided. But I mean, through that game, him and Robinson couldn't get off. Dallas defense played very well against the run. And we stopped, and the Giants got a little bit. Look, they're not. I'm not saying I'm not confusing them with Detroit's backfield, but they've got some running backs there with who's some of their guys there with
at what team?
And Tyrone Tracy. They're not.
Yeah, Tyrone Tracy is very impressive. He's a rookie though, and Singletary is he's so. He's Dayball's guy. That's why he brought him over. Right. But there's no future with that. And then
there isn't. I agree.
And then Tyrone Tracy is something. He's going to be something.
No, he's good. He's good. He's real good.
Now,
I was concerned about him coming into that game.
The other problem is they don't have to keep defenses like the Cowboys honest. I mean, they have Theo Johnson as their tight end, but if they had a tight end presence, I think they would have been more impactful. And let's face it.
Who are you talking about? The Giants?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They might have been. I mean, because then you kind of. I mean, yeah, you have Malik.
Well, Theo had some catches in there that kind of hurt us a little bit. He didn't play too bad. He had 5 catches for 54 yards, but it was at the times when he made some of those catches.
He didn't. He didn't catch more than CeeDee Lamb, right? There's no way he had more yards
Actually, he
and
did.
receptions.
He actually did. He actually did. But no one's gonna confuse him for CeeDee Lamb, though.
No, because he's a receiver and he's high. He's overpaid, and Theo is a journeyman.
He's overpaid. Okay.
All right, but listen.
God.
At the end of the day, you guys are back, right?
All right. Well, we're not back.
My takeaway from you is you guys are back. It feels good to win. I just
like our chances against Cincinnati. I know we'll talk about them coming in the coming week here as we preview next week's games. We'll get more into that. But I mean, I like our chance. We stopped the run. I think we get a pass rush going in. Dallas' pass rush is something to be reckoned with. And
let me just say this: the Cowboys,
we'll in a row, playoff round. That's it, Power Drill. Let's go.
The Cowboys have less than a 20% chance to beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati is going to open a can on you guys. Now, your best bet is to hope, knock on wood, someone has a hamstring. But if they have Higgins and Chase, how are you going to stop them?
With a pass rush.
They have a run game too. They have a run game.
All we got to do is stop the run game. If we in that run game, I mean, they're okay. That run game, I mean,
Chase Brown is official. Chase Brown is a good running back.
Let me see.
He's good. He's good out there. He has good hands out the backfield. He's a good player. He's more than serviceable, and I think they will keep you guys off balance with that.
They're not. I mean, Chase Brown, he's 4.3 yards a carry, 607 yards, 140 carries for 607 yards. Let me just. I guess I gotta look at what they're doing here. We got to look at. We have to look at where they stand in terms of team stats.
What are you guys against the pass? Forget run.
What are we against the pass?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you right now.
It better not be 20-0. 2 shouldn't come out your mouth. If you say 2-something, I'm talking about. Listen, Burrow's gonna have 200 plus yards in the first half. Say 2-something. Y'all better not be 20-0 against the pass.
Well, I mean, overall, we're still in the bottom. We give up. Let's see. So in passing yards per game, because right now it's only giving me total defense. We only give up 212 yards. It's the run where we have a problem at. Total team defense, right? We give up as a defense and run nearly 359 yards of total offense. Passing is 212, and we give up 147 on the run. So but again, if we can get a little bit better against the run, then we could be able to do some things. If you're only passing, you only get 212 yards, D, on our secondary. That's pretty good. That says a lot. That's really more credit to the pass rush. But Bland is back. Bland looks very good. Diggs, I gotta see. He's gonna play next week. We'll see. Well, that's what we've been wanting. We wanted to get our boys back. So we'll see. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
you feel good about what you've been seeing over the last 2 games, right?
Huh?
You feel good about what you've seen over the last 2 games, right?
Albeit the opponents haven't been great, but I just like the fact that a win motivates you.
It does. Yeah, it does.
You know what I'm trying to say?
I can tell that you're motivated. Yeah, it does.
I feel
You feel good. You feel good. That's cool. All right.
Let's. And by the way, they only get 91 yards a game in rushing. The Bengals. That's okay. It's not great. Not when you got a lot of teams that are averaging well over 100 yards a game. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 7 teams in the NFL that average less than 100 yards rushing. The Bengals is part of that 7. So a lot of teams are running the ball really well, and they're not. So they're okay. Chase Brown is okay, but I don't. We stop him. We'll get Burrow in some trouble. He's gonna see Micah. Micah's coming. He's coming.
Didn't you say a few weeks ago Jerry Jones should get rid of Micah because he talks too much? Yo, what?
I know. I didn't say he should have. I said
You
he
said
would do that. I said I didn't recommend that. I just said
okay. He could,
Jerry would probably consider that because he talks too much. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't.
but now
like,
you like Micah.
I've always liked Micah. But if we had to blow the team up and do a Herschel Walker trade, yeah, Micah would be the guy you'd have to trade. He's the only good player you got that's not signed. You signed Dig, DCD, and you signed Dak. So he's the only other superstar you haven't signed. So yeah, you would have to do that. But you know, Jerry's not going to do that. But if he had to, he would. Look, okay, let me say this before we move to your Niners and go to these other games. I'll say this and last thing, and then we move on. So America knows, okay, the Cowboys are not going to make the playoffs, okay? We're still not going to win. We still got the Eagles that we got to play. Got another game with the Commanders. You know, we're not going to win these games. So all I'm saying here, all right. Oh yeah, look at the good James here. James said our season has turned just as irrelevant as a Cowboy. Yeah, you're right. See, James, but your boy Don don't believe that quite yet. He's not there yet. He's not there yet. So you're going to hear his take there, James, and you'll see how he feels. It's very antithetical, very opposite of how you feel, James. But anyway,
I'm just not receiving that yet, but that's okay.
Yeah, he's not receiving that yet. Cowboys are not going anywhere, but all I'm saying, it does feel good.
Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. So it's
die, huh? All right. Okay. All right. Well, you know, listen, I think we can beat the Bengals. We'll talk about it next week in the preview. But yeah, it is what it is. But let's talk about your Niners.
Oh no, we're not going to the Niners yet.
We're going to the Niners. We're talking
no,
the Niners.
Let's talk about Miami.
We're going to talk about their loss.
We're just gonna go in order of the games played. Since you guys already played, Miami played. Now,
okay,
can we just quickly put to bed Tua? Can we put that to bed, please? Shout outs to your brother. Can we put that to bed? That Miami is a team that can win a championship. Can we put that to rest, please? I think Tua's record in 70 or below temperatures lets you know. Now, this is what would have to happen. As long as he plays in the AFC East and he has the Jets, right?
Yeah.
New England and Buffalo, they're not going to win that division. And you're going to have to play those teams in cold weather. Right. And if Tua is 0-12 playing below 70 degrees, listen, it's over.
They actually didn't play bad, though, D. They didn't play bad in the cold. I mean, they didn't look like they were completely incapacitated and like they were completely just frozen.
They missed 20 tackles, though.
They did. Yeah. You're right.
And that's because when it gets cold, you want to keep your hands in your pockets, right? You ain't trying to hit nobody.
Get your hands out my pocket.
Get your hand out my pocket. Like you want to not get hit. And so someone brought up a good point. I think it was Cam Newton. He didn't believe that Tua's arm functions well in the cold. He doesn't think Tua has the strength, the arm strength to get that ball through the wind, through if he's cold, whatever, his mechanics drop off. And the record speaks for itself. I tend to believe that. Now, I know overall, even though Tyreek Hill played in Kansas City and it was cold, that's a high-powered offense. Speed doesn't, you could take speed anywhere, right? Anyway. So if your quarterback can get the ball to you and you can run 22 miles an hour, the ball's going to be there. I just don't think, number one, Tua is brittle. Number two, I just think that from an arm strength situation, I think that might be a challenge. And I think overall the team is soft as far as hitting. We're going to, the great part about it is we play Miami this year. So we're going to see. Our teams could be in the bottom, in the basement. We could be eliminated. When we play a team like Miami, we are going to have our way with Miami.
Miami is 8th ranked in the league, though, total defense, though, D. I mean, you made a great point with them not tackling in the cold, and you're right. I mean, you don't want to be hitting nobody in the cold. You're right about that. Their defense the defense and the fumble on the punt return. That was big. The very first possession of the game for the Dolphins, that was a big one because they just got them 3 and out. I think, even though I know it was early, they had a lot of time to overcome that, but I still think that was a big a big play right there. When you're playing in that kind of situation on the road in the cold, mistakes like that you just can't have. But I think to your point though, Donald, I don't know if it's Miami's fault though, right? I mean, they're just not better than Buffalo. They're not going to be better than Buffalo. They're not better than Baltimore, and they're not going to be better than Kansas City because of those are far more superior quarterbacks. That's not Miami's fault. They just have.
But the problem is if you're trying to get somewhere, if you say that you're a championship caliber team, and all the teams that you would have to play, I don't think they're better than the Steelers at this point. To be honest, I don't think they could. They can't go on.
Their offense is way better than the Steelers.
Do you think that they can go
last season in the red zone in the NFL?
That's fine. Do you think that they can beat? Do you think that Miami could go to Heinz Field and beat the Steelers?
Not if it's after today. No, they can't because it's too cold. I agree. They're not a cold weather team.
So that's what matters, right?
Tua per se. I mean, it's not like the Dolphins of old played in AFC Championship games. They played on the road.
Unless this is a possibility. Okay. Listen to this. Hear me out. I'm just thinking from a Miami fan standpoint.
Okay.
I'm not a Miami fan, but I'm just thinking for the Miami fans. Okay. What if they started the NFL season in May? That's the only way the Miami's going to do anything. You got to start the football season in May, and it has to end by October. That's the only way. Start preseason in March. Push everything way up so it's still warm and it doesn't matter where they play. The playoffs, unfortunately for Miami, is always in the cold, right? It's always January, December. You got tough games, and the NFL has already set it up that your divisional game is always going to be the last game of the season, and it's probably going to be cold. So they can't escape it. They're not going to be able to escape the elements and hide, right? So I just think Green Bay, they look good. Unfortunately for us, we didn't have the personnel, and they gave us opportunities. Love is going to give you an opportunity or two. You just have to capitalize off of it, and we didn't. And they were a superior team. They have great receivers. They have a good running back, and they showed it. But
you only lost that game because there's no Brock. That's all. Like the Niners have a real legitimate out. Even though your boy James said y'all can't beat Miami. That's what he's saying.
No, he says Miami can't beat us.
That's what he said. Miami can beat us.
Can? James, hold on, James. James.
Listen, I don't know. You know what, James? Maybe you should come in and do the rest of the show with Donald.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Get some debate there. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, James is listen, James, you know what? You know what it is, Don? James is a realist.
Okay. And that's fine. I don't see Miami. Let me tell you.
And what?
We can still put enough of a pass rush on Miami. Tua is not, first of all, Tua is brittle. He's not a mobile quarterback, and time is going to tell. This is something that it won't be debatable. We're going to see what happens with the Niners. If Bosa plays, it's even worse. If Greenlaw plays, it's even worse.
We get a lot of ifs in there. A whole lot of ifs going on. Look,
well, I mean, we don't play for a couple of weeks.
Well, it can get cold in San Fran, as we know, right? And obviously living
it's going to be below. It's going to be below 70. I guarantee that.
Well, it definitely will be. It will be. But I don't know. But Donald, look, the Dolphins are clearly a different team when Tua is there. I'm not going to say Tua is trash, and I don't think you could sit here and.
I'm not saying he's trash. He's just not the answer that they need. He's not elevating.
So is it his fault that the Dolphins can't play in the cold? Is it? I mean, I know a lot comes on the quarterback, but I mean, he didn't play bad in that game. He had his QBR was 100. He was 114 in that QBR. He was 37 of 46, 365, 2 touchdowns, no picks. His quarterback rating was 114. He completed, QBR was at 61. But I'm saying he didn't have a bad. I mean, he averaged close to 8 yards a catch. Yeah, but it wasn't a bad performance. What they did, they were doing a lot of screens. They was going short because maybe to what Cam Newton said, his arm he don't have the strength. But they obviously they probably played a lot of cover 2. You had guys over the top. They wasn't going to let Tariq beat them long. And so they stayed underneath. You saw a lot of little catches to Aiken and different guys in there. Went off too, that other receiver that they got that's been playing.
Jalen Waddle?
Not Waddle. What's the other guy?
Oh, Jonnu Smith is it?
Yeah, Jonnu.
He balled out, but he's tight end. He balled out.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But,
and Tariq had 6 for 83.
What are tight ends doing? How far is a tight end running? Right? They're doing little short passes. They're the security blanket. Jonnu Smith had 10 receptions.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I think on 13 passes, he had 10 receptions. Something crazy like that. That might be because Tua can't throw the ball far.
Tua could throw the ball far. I just think they didn't get. He had to adjust to what they were giving him. I don't think that they gave them a lot of room over the top. Now he was hitting guys down the middle and a few times on one drive. A couple of them drives. Tua looked really good. A lot of little play action, hitting Waddling him down on the seams and hitting him on a couple of little crosses there. It was some quarter field, I should say, court, thinking of basketball. But on the quarter field, a lot of the stuff that y'all run, kind of similar to the Shanahan and Sons theme, right? We know McDaniels is from that group. And so he had some moments where he really looked really good. They moved the ball on them. I mean, Green Bay is not, they're not all of that. You know what I'm trying to say? Now,
I'm not suggesting that.
Huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm not suggesting that Green Bay is world beaters, but
their record, I still don't think that they're,
even a marginal team in cold weather will give Miami a problem. I think Miami, the biggest thing is, Tua's health. They go as far as Tua takes them only because he's dynamic. The greatest thing happening for Tua is the fact that he gets the ball out of his hands fast. That's his only attribute. That's his only positive.
It's a pretty good attribute.
It is, but what if Chad Pennington could get the ball out and he had a high passing percentage, I think 70-something%, but he was only throwing 4 yards a pass.
Well, they didn't have much of it. I mean, that was a team that relied mainly on their defense at that time, right? I mean, the Jets weren't world beaters offensively anyway, but this is a high octane offense. They got players from Mostert to Achane to, as we already said, the four
Waddle and Tyreek and Jonnu Smith and
they got guys. So I mean, the problem with the Dolphins is that you're right. They just do you know what it is with the Dolphins? They can't get past Buffalo. If you really just think about it, Buffalo is their Achilles heel. They can't get past that team, and they're going to always end up playing that team on the road. That's why for Miami, they got to get home field advantage. They got to be able to get a home game in there.
And that won't happen. That's not going to happen.
It won't happen. It just won't happen. And losing what you call it was huge. Losing Tua for those games, I really believe they would be in a much better position than they would be right now if Tua didn't miss those games. Soon as he came back, that team had no life. And that's the thing about McDaniels. Good X and O's guy, not a culture guy. He can't elevate the team, can't get them morale up. He's guy walks around, no socks and, cool white sneakers. He don't have the ability. Yeah. He's an X and O guy. He don't know how to rah the players. That team looked defeated and deflated without Tua until he got back.
Yeah. It was, I think, what sparked the Dolphins was Tua's defiance, regardless of what the doctors said about his head and what was going on. He was defiant that, no, I'm not going to wear a helmet. And if I could play this game, I wouldn't even wear a helmet. That's how he was. That was what ignited the team, right?
I guess so. I mean, it worked. I mean, they won some games when he got back.
They did.
So,
they did.
I mean, it worked, but that's the mind of a football player, right? That's how these guys think,
All right, let's talk about let's talk about the Eagles. This is a big marquee game, even more so than the Niners and Buffalo, only because, we're decimated. There's not a great expectation for us. But these two teams, Baltimore and, of course, the Eagles, everyone thinks the Eagles have almost punched their ticket to the NFC Championship game and will be facing Detroit. Not so fast, right? And the Ravens looked unbelievable in the beginning of the season. Yeah. I mean, Derrick Henry was running all over people, pushing them down. But once again, their Achilles heel is you can pass on them. You can pass. Really, you can pass on the Eagles as well. Not as much because they're, their corners have been really, really good, surprisingly good. Their defense has improved between last year and this year tremendously.
They only put up 175 yards in the passing. And the rank right now, they're ranked number 1 overall defense, and only giving up 175 yards a game in the air. That's really good. Their secondary has done a complete 180 from last year.
Yeah, impressive. Now, Lamar Jackson, I think this is going to be a big game, and it will go a long way to kind of burn into the psyche of the teams that they would have to face potentially in the playoffs and for the rest of the regular season. I think the Eagles have proven that they are a winning team. I'm interested to see if they can stop the Ravens, that is, stop Saquon Barkley. If they can stop the run, which Baltimore is really good. I don't know if Roquan Smith is playing, but I think if they can stop the run, I think they have a really good chance. And then you force Jalen Hurts to beat you with his arm and potentially his legs. And, I think if both of their receivers are playing, I would give the advantage to the Eagles because you can pass on them. But if they stop the run and force them to be a one-dimensional team, that means Jalen Hurts is dropping back. Now, in their success, Jalen Hurts has been not throwing the ball much. 20 times, 25 times, not much. He doesn't have to, right? Because if you have Saquon Barkley running for 250 yards and 300 total all-purpose yards in a game, you don't have to throw the ball, right?
Right. No, you
don't. The Ravens have one job. That one job is to make the Eagles one-dimensional. And if you make them rely on Jalen Hurts, there you have a very good shot. Better than 50% shot that, number one, he's going to turn the ball over. Number two, you'll be able to apply some pressure, strip sack, something, and they need to get after him. Keep him in the pocket, force him to be a pocket quarterback, and you got a great shot. What do you say?
You do. I agree with you there. And to your point, they got to stop the run being Baltimore, right? They're number 2 against the run. They only give up 77 yards on the ground, so that's extremely good. So that's the matchup, right? I think that's where the balance of this game lies in. Can the Ravens, and I think you hit it on the head, D, can their defense stop Saquon? That's really what it comes down to. If they have to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hand, and I'm sure Scrap, oh, Lord, we only can imagine what he would be saying right now, right?
Oh, of course. Of course.
But it hurts. If you got to put the ball in Hurts' hand, you definitely have a chance. Now, their secondary is not the greatest. They're ranked 24th in the league in pass. They give up about 277 yards in the air. That's a lot of yards. They're not great in their secondary. But I think that's the key. That's going to be, I think that's going to make the difference in this game. And the Eagles defense, again, like I said, overall, they're 7 against the rush, 3 against the pass. They're number 6. They're 6 in scoring defense, and they're overall ranked number 1 as of this moment. And so I think if you look at this team, I think it boils down to just what you said, not just to regurgitate that again. Ravens defense versus Saquon. And that's going to be the difference maker. Then again, of course, Henry too now, right? Can the Eagles stop Henry? That's going to be a factor there too. And, you got Jackson, who we know has done very well. He only got 3 picks this year. He's done a good job and with ball control and not turning the ball over. So, I like Baltimore in this game. I really do. And they're home. I think I like them in this game. Roquan did practice this week, but I don't see anything officially saying that he's going to play. But he did practice this week, so that's a good sign. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see.
So what do you say about score? What do you have? What do you have?
So quick score with this game here. I like this game. I'm going Donald. I was going to say 25.
Oh man,
no. Right. 23.5. No, let's go. No, actually, I got them. This is going to be an interesting game here. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be close. 22. It's going to be 22-16.
So low scoring.
Low scoring game. I think it's going to be a low scoring game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have Baltimore.
I got Baltimore. Baltimore winning this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think Baltimore is going to be able to put up some points because they're going to force the Eagles to pick their poison. You crowd the box. We got some good receivers that can catch the ball.
They do.
and tight
Yeah.
end. You
Right.
you double and you bracket the receivers, we're going to run for 400 yards on you. So
Right.
I like them to put up points. I think they'll win the game. I do like Baltimore. I'm going to go 31-21.
Okay.
31-21.
Win.
Baltimore.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Good
I
deal.
like them to win.
Good deal.
All right, let's talk about the 49ers versus the Buffalo Bills. Now, Orchard Park there is upwards of 3 to 4 feet of snow that is taking place. They are paying local people to come and dig them out. It is a snowball. It is, I mean, that place is going to be cold. Tua would probably call in sick. He would refuse. He would refuse to go to the game.
He said he would refuse.
He would
Donald,
refuse.
shut up,
He would
man.
refuse to go
Shut
there.
up.
Brock Purdy is back. He's back. I think this is going to be a game where not only will they have to pass the ball, I think it's going to be a run game. And if Kyle Shanahan is smart as we all think he is offensively, he is going to get Jordan Mason the ball. CMC and Jordan Mason need to be on the field at the same time. And I'm not talking about slapping five as one exits. They need to be on the field at the same time, no less than 15 touches, 15 plays, 20 plays. They need to be on the field. One in the receiver, obviously, would be CMC because he has great hands. Jordan Mason is not really known for that, but Jordan Mason is that driving force. We need to bang. We need to have long, sustained drives. Keep Josh Allen on the side. Run game will be crucial. Now, Josh Allen has been really good overall this year about turning the ball over. I think he went first part of the season, he was impeccable. Now, I think Josh Allen, there are opportunities, and any and every opportunity we get, we have to maximize it. A pick that is potentially, we can't drop him. We can't drop a pick. We got to take it. We got to maximize it. We got to take full advantage of it. I think we need to, of course, I foresee Kittle having a great game. Tight ends can really get off against the Bills. I think our run game is going to be important. I think for us to have a shot, we need to have at least minimum 200 yards rushing. We need 200 yards rushing from all of our backs. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do. We need to have every bit of that. And I think it's possible. I think it's possible if we stay committed to the run. Because listen, there is a drop off from Mason to McCaffrey, right? Hands-wise out of the backfield. But ground and pound, McCaffrey is not in full form. Mason is still fresh, and we can utilize that. I think it's conceivable that both backs get 100 yards or close to it. I think it's possible. And I think we have to kind of explore that. Now, I'm going to say this and then I'll pass it to you. The thing that has given me a glimpse of hope is that the betting houses, 95% of the money is on Buffalo. 95%. That means everybody. Everybody is, whenever it's like that, everybody, if at worst, even if the Niners don't win, you can bank that Buffalo will not cover. They will not, I think it's 7 points. They will not cover the spread. I do like the chances for the Niners to squeak out a victory. It will be very tough, but we have to play a perfect game. It's not going to be easy whatsoever. We would have to play a perfect game. We would need some assistance from Josh Allen turning the ball over or something, a sack fumble, or him trying to be doing too much, running the ball more than he needs to. Our keys to losing is if Josh Allen stays disciplined and they run a balanced attack of run and pass. We can't beat them. We don't have enough. But if Josh Allen gets too Josh Allen centric, or he tries to do too many, I want to show my arm strength and I'm going to try to jam it in between two defenders, and I'm trying to squeeze this pass in and gives us an opportunity, something is tipped, and we catch it and we get a short field, I like our chances to win. I do think this is a tough, it would have to be a tough victory for us, but I do think there's a chance. And it starts with the run, because the run is going to, now we have a lot of players out. Let me be clear on that. We have a lot of key players out, but I do think we have enough players to keep it close and then hope that we have a advantageous turnover that will allow us to win the game. That's what I have to say. What do you think?
D, my friend, look, and I'm just being very, 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 just going to be objective here. As we said all year, you've been saying it since we started this show 2 years ago, injuries is the great equalizer, right? And now the Niners are looking mortal. Niners are not the team that was so head and shoulders above everybody in the NFC because of what you have often said is the great equalizer. Injuries, key injuries, right? I think I said that in the chat too. We were talking, me, you in chat. There's a difference between injuries and there's key injuries, right? And you guys have had some key injuries. In fact, as you stated already, guys who are out, right? So you got Bosa who's out, Williams is out, Aaron Banks, your left guard, is out, Jordan Elliott is out, your defensive tackle, and Lenore, right? So he's out. And that's a lot of good players that are out, right? And here's another interesting stat. And this is, again, just to buttress and reinforce your point about using Mason, which would be really, really interesting, okay? Here's an interesting stat. It says the Niners rank 10th worst in the NFL with 3.85 yards per carry in 3 games since McCaffrey returned, after ranking 4th with 5.13 yards per carry in the first 8 weeks. So Shanahan has got to know this, right? We know he knows this. He's been hearing you all week. He heard you last week. He heard you since McCaffrey has returned. And he said, you know what? He got in the meeting room, I believe, this week. And he said, look, guys, I've been listening to Don on Brooklyn Bears and Ball. And Don has been saying religiously and faithfully that we got to interject Mason, and we're going to have to use him more and have more of a tandem type backfield. If not, even having Mason be more of still the bell cow, if you will. And that's really what you need, right? Because at the end of the day, Purdy coming back is huge. That is a plus. But your receivers and Jennings is good. Your other kid was a Streeter. I forget his name. I think another dude you got.
Jennings is good.
Jennings and
Persol.
Debo. They're not going to light the world on fire. They're good receivers, right? But they're not number ones that's going to make a difference, right? If you will. So what do you got to do? You got Kittles, who's actually leading the league with tight ends, with touchdowns and stuff, right? In the red zone in particular. You got to run the ball. You got to keep Josh Allen on the sideline. Keep him in his warmers. Let him keep his hands in his pocket, looking up at the scoreboard, just chilling on the bench. Keep him there. You don't want to see his hand come out at all, right? You want to make sure that you run the ball. That is the only chance, D, your team has of winning this game. If not, this game is going to be a blowout. Even if Josh Allen does some Josh Allen things, like you said, he wants to kind of now show off his arm talent, or, what's his name? Joe Brady starts making calls and want to do stuff fancy and get Josh Allen centric. You're right. That would keep the Niners in it for a little minute. But I still don't think y'all have enough to overcome. You're playing a team that right now is playing really, really well, right? And they're at home. It's going to be cold. You got snow. And the truth is, I just don't know if y'all have enough to overcome, not with the key injuries here. But you have a chance if you happen to run Mason a little bit more. And now here's an interesting thing, though. In spite the injuries, okay, kudos to the Niners. Your defense overall is still ranked 6th. Now, a lot of that probably had to do with the beginning of the year, but still, you're ranked 6th, right? You're 11 against the run, 6 against the pass. So your secondary is still good. You're 20th in scoring, so you guys still give up points. But at the end of the day, Your defense is still enough to kind of keep you in the game, but I just don't know if it's enough to overcome Josh Allen and the Bills, who just really, and their offense is only ranked 13th overall. They're 11 in pass, 11 in the rush. This is the Bills offense, that is. They're ranked 13th in the pass, but they're number 3 in scoring. So they put up points, right? They can score the ball a lot. And I just think you guys just may not have enough, again, to the injuries. And I say this to you, D, I do think James has been making some points through this whole thing since he jumped on the show. D, it's okay, man. It's okay to just be like, you know what? We may not make the playoffs this year.
No, but let me tell you,
and it's because of injuries, and no one's going to be mad at that.
No. And I'm not in denial. If the NFC West wasn't as weak as it was, I would say our season is done, right? I would be honest with that. If the NFC West looked like, let's just say, I shouldn't say, let's just say it looked like
the NFC North for example.
Right. Oh, then it's over. It's a wrap, right? But even if it looked like the NFC East, I would say it's over, right? Because the only way we get into the playoffs is if we win the division. We will not get a wild card. We can't. There's going to be 3 teams that come from the NFC North. We're not getting a wild card. We have to win the division. And so because our division leader is, pretty much if we win, depending on how they lose, a game ahead of us, a game and a half, there is still hope. Because, yes, it's tough, but it's not where our margin is so bad that we have to win every single game. Nobody has distanced themselves in the NFC West to give me the impression that we're dead in the water. And what if we're able to somehow, some way, we still have some divisional games left. What if we're able to win more games than them? Our division record won't matter if we end up with a better record than them, right? It doesn't matter. We win the division. Our division.
You would. Yeah, no, you definitely would.
Our division record is terrible.
Right.
But let's just say they lose out of conference games or whatever, and their record winds up being less than ours. We win still. So we do have a chance. We don't have it. There are some tough games ahead. We have tough games, but I do think that there is an outside chance. Now, the weather is going to be bad, right? Snow. We know maybe visibility will be poor, but that impacts both teams. Yes, they play there, so they're more accustomed to it, right? But if you have a defense that puts pressure, if you run the ball, that's going to be the keys. Now, if they abandon what the common knowledge would be to do in those type of situations, yes, play action a little bit to pass occasionally, but it should be ground and pound. We should be running the ball. We need to be pushing for that 200-yard mark of rushing the ball. And that's not inconceivable given the running backs we have.
Well,
it's not really.
If you run Mason, I mean, it sounded a little inconceivable when you first said it, but as we're talking through this, I think if you give ball, if you stay consistent with the run, give Mason a lot of carries there, and you got CMC, who is still, we know he's not in tip-top form yet, but still a viable threat. I agree with you there, D. But what concerns me is that Seattle plays the Jets. They already have a game up on you guys, right? They technically, even though they're tied record-wise with Arizona, but they got the tiebreaker right now. You're going to fall back 2 games because Seattle's going to beat the Jets. At least we assume, right? I mean, we could just for conjecture, for the sake of argument, Seattle wins this game. You lose to Buffalo. Now you're 2 games back. And right now you're 1-3 in the division. So,
I don't know if Seattle beats.
Seattle's going to beat the Jets?
I don't know that. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know that. It depends what Geno you see. I'm telling you, if you watch the game if you watch the game on Sunday Ticket and Geno, if you can see into Geno's nostrils, they're going to lose. I'm telling you. If he looks after that first drive like a lost animal somewhere, because listen, Geno always wants to try to prove something. He played for the Jets, right? So if he comes in and he has something to prove, Jets' best bet, right? I mean, Seattle's best bet is lean on Kenneth Walker, right? Get Metcalf. You got JSN. You got pieces, right? He doesn't have to throw for 400 yards and show off, right? But I do think that there is a chance. Seattle ain't world beaters. They're not world beaters.
But they're not. But they're playing the Jets, though. D. I mean, you gotta at least start calculating in your mind, right? I mean, the game's still.
I gotta plug it.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell D America is that you have to start calculating, right? Now you start playing with your win-loss columns. You start, projecting wins and losses based on what you have left, how many division games you got. Seattle has a game up on them. If they beat the Jets, which most likely they will, regardless of what Geno shows up. I know D wants to make you think about Geno. It don't matter. Whatever Geno shows up, Geno, the wino, whatever he is, 3 nostrils, 1 nostril, it won't matter. He's got to beat they most likely beat the Jets. And if you're the Niners, you got to start thinking about your wins and losses, D. You got to start projecting wins and losses, looking at your columns there, seeing how many games you got left, looking at your division games versus your out of division games. And again, the odds are stacked against you guys. Now, again, James is saying, look, I'd rather not even make the playoffs. That's what James is saying.
And what's the benefit? What is the benefit of not making the playoffs, James? What's the benefit of that? I mean, if you make the playoffs, right, it's any given Sunday, right? What if someone, a team, perfect example, Detroit looks unbeatable. Each week, they're losing key players. They're losing players, right? And what happens if a team on said day has an off game? Detroit, I think two Sundays ago, it might have been even last Sunday. Jared Goff didn't have any touchdowns. I mean, yes, they ran the ball and they were able to run it down. But are you going to be able to run? We went 55 games without a team running for 100 yards on us. So it's not like now all of a sudden every team's just going to completely demolish us and run through us. It hasn't happened. So what I'm saying is, a team can have a bad game, and I'm not trying to, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and somehow we're going to end up in the Super Bowl. All I'm saying is our division is still in front of us. We can still win our division, regardless if we win or lose with Buffalo tomorrow. I think we still have a shot because our division, nobody has separated themselves to the point where, oh man, it's over. Like, it's over. You can look as a Cowboy fan and say it's over. You're not beating the Eagles are too far ahead, right? Right,
no,
right or wrong.
Right. I mean, yeah.
But with us, that's not the case.
We're going to get into and looking at who can be hurt and who can play what game on what. You're giving us the any given Sunday scenarios. Like, I'm not doing that. I know Dallas is done. I'm just saying.
Right, but mathematically, we're not. It's not as it's close with us. We're banking on, okay, can a championship type team that's built to win now, can they muster up enough to win enough games? And are we factoring how confident are we with Arizona and Seattle? I don't have that same confidence that they are going to be able to finish the course. And they may. Kudos to them if they do. But I don't feel like, man, they're so far ahead of us. We have no chance. I think we have a chance. And I think if we win our division, we host a game. Anything's possible at that point. We host a game. Maybe some people come back. Maybe, they open the practice window for Greenlaw. Now, if we're out of it and we have no chance to even win our division, don't bring Greenlaw back, right? Just let him rest, get better. But what happens if in 2 weeks we're able to get Greenlaw and Hufanga and Trent is back and this one and that one, like we have our arsenal coming back together? Be honest, right? At the end of the day, right? Whether you think the team is long in the tooth and we're our best days have been ahead of us.
Do you played a lot of football to James' point too?
In a win or go home game, do you think somebody even Detroit, even the Eagles, let's say it won't be them because they'll be division winners. But do you think any of the teams that we would host and they would play us would want to come and play the Niners?
Well, you mean if y'all win the division? That's the only way.
Of course, that's the only way we're going to get in the playoffs. We're not getting.
Yeah, I mean, here's what you're banking on, right? Your team is going to get healthier, is what you're saying, and you're saying that you believe that both the Cardinals and or Seattle is going to falter at some point. They're just going to fizzle out. So that's what you're banking on. Okay.
Yeah, because history will tell you that.
Plausible. But I think after this week, D, I don't know if Seattle wins Sunday, now you're 2 games back, and with 2 games back, and you still got to play. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, right? Still a lot of football left to play.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it. I don't disagree with your theory that the teams that are ahead of you guys have created a level of distance that makes you believe that you can't gain ground. I agree with you there. Right. These teams haven't done it before, and we know that they've been inconsistent for the most part, right? They're good teams, but they're not great. They're not teams that really know how to finish and win like that. They don't have that kind of culture that reeks that level of consistency for winning. But I don't know if you look at the losses, D, that y'all had. The Seahawks loss was a bad loss. You should have won that game, right? All right. The Chiefs you're going to lose to because it's just the Chiefs. The Cardinals you lose by a point in that game. You lose to the Rams. Vikings, you lose to the Vikings. Of course, at that time, we didn't know what the Vikings were going to be. That was only week 2. I think you guys have dug yourselves into kind of a hole in a sense. And I think Shanahan, how he plays and coaches this Sunday, if you don't see Mason running that ball and getting touches the way that we all believe he should, that's going to be your season right there. I think that's a telltale sign to let you know that the Niners are not going to prevail this season, and they might, on a low, based on what Kittles is saying, based on what James had just said in the chat, Kittles might be looking for a break. A lot of football y'all played the last several years. Y'all go deep in the playoffs. You've been like the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers back when LeBron and Steph were playing. A lot of football, man, and it's different. A lot of hitting, a lot of contact, a lot of tackling, a lot of. And, you guys are getting a little bit long in the tooth. And I just think it's going to determine based on how Shanahan wants to use you guys. Have y'all remained competitive? Yes. Kudos to the Niners. Y'all are a good team. You got still good coaching. The Niners are still going to be there. That's why I think Brock Purdy is going to make a bag. Because without him, at the end of the day, everybody else can be in or out. But that man not playing is going to be crucial to any level of chances y'all have to win in this season to get or win your division to get into the playoffs. Purdy is essential. It's been proven. You need him. And that's why I tell you, D, get ready because they're going to have to open up their wallet for this man. No matter what happens this year, he is going to have to get paid because your team is not the same without that man. Even Ayuk being gone, there's still possibilities to win, but you still need Purdy. And I don't think if they don't run Mason this week, it's going to tell you a lot of how Shanahan is still looking at how he wants to run this team. And it's not.
I agree with you. The only thing I would disagree with you with is if we lose this game, that our season is over. But I do think philosophy and what Kyle Shanahan shows will kind of determine if he's too rigid in the way he thinks we need to win or what's the best way for us to win. There is a difference, right? Someone can become too rigid. No, this is the way I drew it up. No matter what, this is how we're going to win. Or you can think outside the box and say, yeah, let's use CMC in the red zone exclusively, or more often than not, use him in the red zone where he's the most efficient, right? Where he becomes even more of a dual threat while he's still getting up to speed. Catching, any type of play action to get him open, that kind of stuff, where if he's lined up against a linebacker, he's going to blow past them, that type of stuff. Now, mind you, the weather is going to be a factor, right? But the weather is going to be a factor for both teams. That's why I think that our run game is going to need to approach the 200 mark or more for us to be successful. We're going to have to utilize Mason. We're going to have to utilize CMC, but just in a different way. What's your score for this game?
It's almost like I want to give two versions. I still think Buffalo prevails, even if Mason does get more touches. And that would be one score. And then if he doesn't get touches, then you have a whole nother score. But I think you are looking at, in my mind, I think you got Buffalo winning this game, D. 31. I think it's 31-20.
Okay. 31-20.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that we win. Realistically speaking, I'm going to give a score. If Buffalo wins, the score will be 28-24.
Okay.
It's going to be, it's going to be under a
Who do you have
touchdown.
winning this game, though?
Huh?
Who do you have winning the game? So you gave me a score that if Buffalo wins, but you haven't. That's not saying who you think is going to win the game, because then that means that implies you got another score if 49ers win.
Oh, yeah. If 49ers win, it'll be 28-17.
Really?
Yeah.
So who you think's gonna win the game, though, D? America, look at this guy. Who would ever? Wait.
What's so funny? What is so funny? What's so funny?
Yo, America, y'all see D? Yo. It is a dumb conspiracy.
I'm putting Buffalo on upset alert. I'm putting Buffalo on upset alert. You heard it here. Call me crazy. I think the Niners have a good chance to win this game. It's not going to be easy. But I do think the Niners have a good chance. And if they run the ball, they stick to the script, long plays. I think Purdy helps us, obviously, because Allen last week was a statue, and he looked lost, right? And I don't think he was the best choice of our backups to actually be in the starting role. That's neither here nor there. If we run the ball, Purdy extends plays with his legs, looks and gets Kittle involved, and Mason has to be a factor. Yeah. This is kind of the reason I'm giving this score. I do like the Niners to win 28-17. Wow. 49ers. Wow. Upset alert, Buffalo Bills. Book it. And if the Niners lose, Buffalo will not cover. They will not beat us by 7 points. Will not.
What's the spread? 6.5?
95% of the money is on Buffalo. Be smart, people. 95%. Vegas is not in the business of losing. So if you think all of that is coming in, and there's not going to be any crazy wave over the next 24 hours of sharp money coming in on the 49ers, but people are just, hey, we're down. Kick them while they're down. They know all these plays. Purdy's coming off of an injury. He was out last week. His best, the left tackle is out. You got, Bosa, the pass rush is not, all of that. 28-17 Niners. Book it, man. Book it.
And so you say 28-17 because of Vegas and the odds.
All the factors. All those factors.
All those factors
already had me thinking that, I like that. I like when people doubt and put someone this is a W. That's an automatic W. Listen. Do you know?
You can't blame people for feeling that way.
No, that's cool. That's cool. But do you know that Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken, was a 13-point favorite yesterday? Did you know that? I think they were 13.5-point favorites. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they were 13.5-point favorites. Did they win by 2 points and they really could have lost that game? But of course, the NFL doesn't want, Kansas City to lose. So the refs do whatever they can to assist them. And I sent you that video. Did you not see that call at the end? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And what do you think about that? You think that that was ref intervention, or you think that that was just a normal play that you see every Sunday, any given Sunday, or
No,
Black Friday, or
I will say in this case, there's some
Christmas Eve, or Kwanzaa? We see those type of calls at Kwanzaa. That was a deliberate call to benefit Kansas City. You have to beat Kansas City. It's like the champ. If you're boxing the champ, you got to beat the champ. If you let it go to a decision, you're not going to win. You have to put the champ on the canvas. And Buffalo was able to put them on the canvas, and that's why they got the W. But if it's close and you got the stripes around, trust and believe a flag is going to come from somewhere. What happened? The flag is going to fly, and then it's going to be this false start. The illegal motion. Something is going to extend the drive, and they wind up getting a W. And each time offline, we text in the text group, and I send you countless stuff, undoctored film from credible sources, and you still don't believe what your eyes tell you. Seeing is believing.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, Mahomes and Andy Reid has proven to be really just that good. So, I mean, the whole this majestic theory that they are getting help from the refs. Yeah, do they get some favorable calls? I do agree, but I don't know if we could say that that's why they've got their dynasty. Heck, I'm going on record, and I've been saying it, that Bill Belichick, about 40 to 50 years from now, we'll all see that all their Super Bowls are rigged. I believe that that's a team that's cheated, in my opinion. There's no way you can have.
And if you believe that, that can't be solely the only team that's ever benefited from that, right? You think that they're the only team that? I mean, yes, they have a dynasty, so of course they're a
think every dynasty was aided by suspicious calls in their favor. I mean,
you got the stars on your shoulders. I expect you.
No, I'm just saying, right? I mean, look, your dynasty in the 80s. I got the we were all that in the 90s. We just looked better than everybody. Like y'all were better than everybody in the 80s. We were better than everybody in the 90s, and well, at least in the early 90s. Up until 95, and then we, and I don't know. The Patriots, to me, I don't know. I think something's going to come out about 40 years from now. Yeah, there's no way.
And when you find out that when someone writes a tell-all book and it tells you how much point shaving and how much things were rigged, I hope you remember this. I hope you're able to pull this out of the archives and say, Don has not only been saying that since we had this show. Don has been saying this for the better part of 25 years that sports is rigged.
But, yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if sports as a whole is rigged.
I know they're going to leave billions and billions of dollars up to jocks to make a decision. They're going to leave the balance of all the things that are made. They're going to leave it up to the Micah Parsons of the league and the Nick Bosas and the they're going to leave it up to them to determine where billions and billions of dollars are going. Do you understand what the partnership with the NFL and gambling houses? Do you know what that means? Do you know what that symbolizes? That's why it is the equivalent of someone saying, "Listen, you have to do it." There are people that are actually doing commercials for sports gambling, but yet if you gamble and pretty much if the NFL don't get their piece, right? Let's say you just decide on your own. Well, I think this is going to happen. I don't think this play is going to play, or I think they are ready to suspend you for the entire year or ban you for life.
Yeah.
But clearly they're in partnership with these same companies, right?
Yeah, but
NFL games. What'd you say?
But it's hard to, from a league perspective or vantage point, right? I mean, you can't pinpoint perhaps a conflict of interest per se, as it would be with a player. So I mean, but more so, I think it's more clear with a player, right? I think if a player is betting, then it's going to be implied that player go back to Pete Rose, right? It's going to be something that is implied that this game was rigged some way, somehow, and you can't have the guys actually playing the game.
So wait a minute. You don't see you don't see the conflict of interest with NFL, NBA, MLB partnering up with, DraftKings and so on and so forth. You don't see how the company itself partnering with them creates a conflict of interest. Spreads are created. Let's just say this real quick. Spreads are created in the desert, right? You're partnered with a team that stands to win. They want the house to always win, right? The refs, who are your employees, determine outcomes. They can take games over and make calls that the judgment calls that either equal a victory or a loss. That partnership is that's why certain players, that's why everything from injury reports, that's why everything from some of the sports books have where they have quote unquote injury protection. A player gets hurt, if they don't play the second half, you don't have to pay them. That's why you see players come back for one play in the second half and then they're out the rest of the game. It is a partnership. They are partners with those sports. But you think, oh, I just came out for one play to test it out. That's what you think, right? You think, oh, the player he's a dog. He wanted to play so bad. He came back out there and just figured he couldn't do it. That's what you think? Absolutely
yeah,
not.
Honestly, I do. I think is there corruption in sports because of the gambling element? Yeah, I would say so. I think there might be in some instances that you have that situation, but I don't think it's to the degree maybe that you would probably that you're alluding to here. I think you think it's just all the way across the board, every game, down to the very last, down to not the last play, but a myriad of plays throughout a game.
It doesn't have to be every play. It has to be, as they always say, it's not how many people you shoot, it's who you shoot, right? Right? That's all. You don't have to shoot everybody. It's just who you shoot, right? So it's obviously the marquee games, right? Obviously, let you tell it. The Cowboys, you were proud, and then he's been on it's a parade. He's been proud. The Cowboys versus the Cowboys versus the Giants had 38 million people watching.
Yeah,
38 million. He was proud of that. So a percentage, even if it's 10% of that, is at the sports books making wagers on said game. And just think about sports books. Even if each person bet $1, that's a lot of money on one game that a sports book can lose or win. And we just have to revert back to the fact that they're not in the business to lose. Yeah, businesses are way smarter than setting it up for chance, right? Successful people don't work on chance. They work on guarantees. And the only way you guarantee is to partner with people that share your same interest. So I lose a little bit, you win a little bit. There's a give and take. And that's what the NFL in these sports books are doing. And it's not obvious, although some of the plays are super obvious. Did you see the Chicago game? And we'll end because we can go on and on about this. But did you see the Chicago game? Did you see that Eberflus was looking with 30 seconds left? He's just looking up like, did the check clear? Somebody tell me if the check cleared. I could kick this field goal and win the game or tie it, but somebody please tell me that the check cleared, and then I can. Was that obvious?
You really think that even in that game that was that?
So you think that
Eberflus could be that bad of a coach and just that derelict?
So do you think? So you think that was just he just had brain fog, right? That's what you thought it was just.
Well, they said what you call it, change the play, but then again, he still could have called the timeout once he still.
You had a timeout left.
You had a timeout.
You were in field goal range.
Yeah,
and you had like 30 seconds. Who would do that?
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Listen,
what's a parlay? What does that mean?
It's when you have a combination of like Cowboys +3, Green Bay +5. It's more than one game, and it brings your odds up. If you combine, like Just doing one game is one thing, but if you do multiple games, it pushes the profit or what you would win because it's harder, obviously, right?
Right.
Because you are looking at the games, but that you're also factoring in the the refs. The refs are involved when they go and assistants told us that was a catch. They're quick about it. Like, yo, Vinny in the desert told us that it was a catch. I'm telling, like, yo, it was a catch. They told us it was a catch, so it was a catch. Right. Money is being made, Len, and they're not leaving it up to.
Maybe I'm still naive. I don't want to believe.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, I believe that there's always. I mean, look, it's just the way of the world, right? Not even just America, right? I mean, you got corruption because money. It's the love of it, at least, right? It'll cause you to have these things that we see today. And I agree with you on the Vegas thing. I agree. I mean, they're not.
You think boxing is rigged? You think boxing? You think boxing has been compromised and is rigged?
I think boxing has been the real.
So you think that
not this crap we saw?
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about
real boxing that we know. Yeah. I believe so. Yeah.
So you think that in a vacuum, only boxing, the only sport that has been tainted by compromised, sports books and promoters and owners of teams, that's the only sport that we can point our finger at and say, yeah, I can definitely see them taking a dive or being rigged, but not NFL. Not someone dropping a pass where it's like second nature. They've been doing it since they were 5, and then all of a sudden, a catch that could be made for a first down slips through their hands. It's stuff that simple. It's simple stuff.
So that means if CD drops another pass, it's not CD.
CD's just trash. That's why he dropped the pass. I'm talking about. I'm just joking. CD is trash. I'm not talking about CD. I'm talking about real players. I'm talking about real number one. They're not going to even get a number 2 on the team involved.
Oh, my Lord. No, well, the 1918 Black Sox? That's actually a book. I remember reading that book some years ago. And you would probably go there.
Oh, yeah. It's based on, what's his name? And you know who was involved in that, right? What's his name?
What, the Black Sox in 1918, whatever it was?
Yeah, I thought it was...
I forgot.
He was a famous gangster in New York.
Not
Lucky Luciano. It was somebody else.
Yeah,
that was
involved with that. Yeah.
And he was big on, and what he would do, that same guy, he would go to casinos and he would cheat in card games. And I did some research on him. He would go to card games and cheat people. And because a lot of people were scared of him and he had backing, they wouldn't call him out. But yes, very much so, where absolutely. So those things happen. I mean, whether we want to believe it or not, they do happen. But time will tell. I do like our chances. Very slim. We do have chance, though. We do have a chance. And more importantly, win or lose, they won't cover the spread. And I think we still have a shot to win our division, which is the most important. Even if we lose tomorrow, I think we have a shot to win our division. But keep your eye on 95%. 95% is not good.
I tell you what, Donald. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do for you and your theory. If the Niners win this game,
I know you're not going. Yeah, okay.
The 95%.
I know you won't stick with it. You're not going to stick with it. You'll say it, and then you'll be like, "What?"
I tell you what. Whatever percentage I'm at now, it's going to exponentially increase. So much so to the point now that I will probably maybe start taking a more of a casual, approach to the games, or maybe scrutinize it even more. Maybe I retract. Not casual, but I'll be scrutinizing these games a little bit more. And you know what? I'll tell you why I'll embrace this theory that you're offering, because that would definitely make me, as far as the Cowboys, and maybe this is what Jerry was trying to tell us all along, right? He was like, Don is talking about language. Don knows what we do here. You know what I mean? He's spilling the beans. He's trying to get my Cowboy fan Rod, to try to like come out of his gullibility here, but this is what what Jerry knows, right? And so, you know what? Maybe I'll say, hey, I don't feel as bad when the Cowboys lose because I know it's all part of the system that's rigged. So I tell you what, if the Niners win this game, I tell you what, D, if the Niners win this game, I will believe with a lot more surety that sports, in the particular NFL, since that's what we talk about mostly, is rigged. I would definitely agree with you there. And if y'all lose, then what? You can't say anything else about conspiracy theories.
Okay, and I'll take it a step further. If we lose, and we get blown out, I won't bring up a conspiracy theory anymore this year. No more in this football season. I won't say anything else.
Look, if you say Vegas,
I won't even send the text on things that are obvious. I won't even do that for the rest of the year. I'll just leave it.
Okay.
That's a fair exchange. Now,
that's a fair exchange. And then
Arnold Rothstein was the guy I was talking about.
Arnold Rothstein, yes, that's
with
him.
the Black Sox. Yeah, he was known for
he was
for cheating.
Yeah. Okay, so and if y'all
bookies wouldn't take that bet. Yeah, I know but I have some conviction with it. I do think it is. So I mean,
no conspiracy. Right. Can you imagine, James, if that's what you mean? Don with no conspiracy thoughts?
None. I'm going to keep them to myself. Of course, I'm going to have them, but I'm not going to express them on this show. I will just until our next season. Lord willing, our next season.
But I tell you,
I'll talk about it.
What would be good, though, if it is where the Niners win and Vegas, okay, because they can't lose, right? 95%. You say they can't take a loss, right? So if they win, beating the Niners, okay, then
you can win and still lose. You can win and still lose.
Right, you can win and still lose, but you're saying Vegas is not going to take a hit like that. With all them people betting on Buffalo, they're not going to give away all that money, right? So
I would let me just say this: I would need to know the percentage of money line bets on.
Can you find that out? Is that something?
I'm sure I could probably do a Google search or whatever. Right. But if you find out what the percentage of the money line bets, if it goes into the 60s and 70s%, now it's a difference in if 95% think the Niners are going to lose and it's just they're going to win by 7 points, right? So they take Buffalo to win by 7. That's one thing. That's one way of winning or losing.
Right.
But there are people that say, I just think they're going to beat them. I don't know if they'll beat them by 7. They may only beat them by 1 point.
Right.
If that percentage is upper 60s,
I see what you're saying.
Then the Niners will most definitely win, right? Because Vegas can't take a 95% hit on both ends. They can take a hit on one end, whether if it was just the 7 points. Okay, cool. But the people that say go a step further and think maybe the Niners are desperate enough, whatever their logic is, and says, okay, 60, 70% is money line. That means the only way is they don't have to win by 7. They can win by 1 point. They can win by a field goal. Big difference. Big difference.
All right. And I was going to say, right, because right now we could say Scrapp's team is going to probably go further than our team, right? So I would love to have that as my retort if Scrap was to win some games and they even won.
No, I'm not using it as that kind of. No. I'm not using.
Listen, well, I mean, why? Well, you can't put.
See, that's why. See, I knew. Even if the Niners win, you won't take it the right way. You'll take it.
You're right.
You won't take it the right way.
Actually, I am taking it the right way because you can't come up with a theory that lofty to say that these games are rigged to the degree that they are, and then when we talk about something as impactful as a Super Bowl, even, all right, there's no way. You can't then say, well, they're going to just leave that up to chance. No, if they're not going to leave a week 12 game up to chance, They're not leaving the Super Bowl up to chance. And if Scrap wins the Super Bowl, I'm going to tell him that his Super Bowl is illegitimate, and therefore he is not a true winner. He's no different than the White Sox that lost, even the Houston Astros that won they won their World Series when they won it there, because there was some cheating going on there too as well. I don't care. He falls in the category, and the Eagles don't have a true championship. I would love to say that. D, I'm starting to like the way you think. And I'm going to tell you now, if the Niners win this game, that is it. That is it, bro. But if they don't, D, no more conspiracy theory, though. That's it. We're going to give Scrap his.
No, but the agreement is lose and get blown out. Lose and get blown out. Yeah.
Lose and get blown out. But put in the chat for us between you, me, and Scrap. If you find anything between now and before tomorrow's game, if you happen to find out what those finish lines are as far as the spread is concerned, then yeah, I'll be interested to know. I'm starting to kind of get into this now, James, because I never in my life paid none of that new mind. You know what I mean? I'm just watching the game. I don't care about that.
But as you know, those things behind the scenes, that's how the sauce is made, right?
Yeah.
That's how all the stuff is. That's how Jerry Jones can say, "Oh man, he sure look good in that sure look good in that star." He don't care because the money is hitting. What does he care? He's winning regardless.
He's winning regardless.
Those TV deals, all of that stuff is made available through and is funded by the partnerships that they make with sports books, etc. So yeah, there is some factors in that. But in any case, we've gone farther. The hour is far spent. We'll talk about on the next show. We'll mention the Lakers being eliminated from the
playoffs. We'll talk about
no Cooper for the Lakers. It's all good. I mean, hey.
Well, we won it last year. They can't have us win it 2 years in a row. So somebody else.
Okay. That's why OKC did what they did to you guys, because you didn't want to win it again. I got it. Cool.
Well, no, it's the bettors, right? It's what was the spread? You got to factor all that in now. We got to start putting.
Forget it now. See, because he's not taking it serious. He's not taking it serious. He's not taking it serious.
They didn't want the Lakers to win. The Lakers won already. They just wanted LeBron and the Lakers to set it off. It gave it validity.
The Lakers aren't good enough. They're just not good enough.
No, but it gives some. But for the Lakers to win it the first year, it just gave But no, we're not.
You think
we should have won that game? But it's
you think it gave credibility to them? You think it gave some validity to
because nobody really cares about that in-game tournament.
And they still don't. They still don't.
The NBA could have ever came up with.
I mean, it gives them all of them a trip to Vegas at some point to play in a couple of days in Vegas. I mean, of course they could. All right, Rod, but good show, man. Listen, shout out to everyone that jumped on. James, of course, our UK affiliate. We appreciate you, man.
The realist.
Ken, thanks for the laughing emojis. Who else?
Yes, Kim.
HBG Simba, thank you for jumping on, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Rand, thanks for jumping on, man. I appreciate it. Hey, listen, Steve. Thank you. He's a Niner fan. Thank you. I appreciate it, Steve.
Okay.
Steven. Who else we got? I think that was everybody. Shout outs to everyone. Shout out to
Power Drill too, right? I think.
Yeah, that's Rand. He jumped on.
Okay, my bad. All right.
He jumped on. And so we appreciate everyone jumping on. Once again, everyone, please like, share, subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube page. We're really trying to push our YouTube page, if you will. Subscribe, share, and if you agree, do you agree with our takes? If you agree, you don't agree, let us know. We'll discuss it on the next show. And as you know, when you jump on, we're interactive. We answer and go in with the takes and people's response. We appreciate everything that you guys do to make this show what it is, man.
Thank you, fellas. We appreciate it.
Go Niners. Go Niners. Go Niners. Until next time,
Vegas.
Whatever, man. Well, hey, whoever it is. Whoever it is, Vegas, because at the end of the day, Vegas, the owners, the players, all money to burn. They all got money to burn, right? So
what is money to burn?
Money to burn. Until next time, everybody. Peace.
Peace.